Hi, I'm Mary Gushin, and I want to welcome you to my new show, Mary's Kitchen and Garden, on KnoxIvy.com. First, we're going to look at my garden, and then we're going to go in my house and we're going to make a great chicken enchilada. I'll see you in a minute. Hi, welcome back. I'm Mary Gushin, and I want to welcome you again to my new cooking and gardening show on KnoxIvy.com. And I just want to give you a story about how this all came to be. First of all, I've lived in Knoxville for 3 years. We're just west of Farragut. My husband and I, we moved here from Troy, Michigan, and I love to garden. Up north, I had about 20 different gardens with perennials and annuals and bulbs, and it was really beautiful. And when we bought our new house, we didn't have anything. So this is the first area that I worked on as far as with my garden. We had lavender and roses. The rose bush I actually brought down from Michigan, and we planted the azaleas. The wisteria was from here, and it was just really nice to start. That was year one. Well, year two, we expanded into some tomato plants and kind of cut off the garden right at the deck. Once we really got used to gardening, this year we've expanded it going all the way around the deck, and as you can see, there's tomatoes, several different varieties. There's several different varieties of peppers, and we've actually already had an awesome crop of peas. They were so sweet and so good. They actually were growing right here, but they're all done. And so what I've done is I've pulled them out, which is something that you can do. You can take one vegetable, and then you can, once it's finished, you can rework the soil and then plant another. And what's here is a cucumber that I've just picked a cucumber for the salad that we're going to have in a minute. And also, this is a winding spinach, and you can take the leaves and you can use it for your salads and your dishes. Moving on, we've got squash and several, a big stand of beans here. We've got raspberries in the back, and another tomato plant. And that tomato plant actually came up on its own because we compost. And when I'll show you the compost bin in just a minute. This is more beans. As you can see, the beans are loving the sun and doing really well. And then around here, this is our brand new garden. We got this plant at the Tahalia greenhouse and plant sale that was earlier in the year. It's doing just wonderfully. You can see all the new growth on the maple. And then we had some space, so we decided to put some more beans there. And as you can see, what we need to do, in fact, this is our job for the weekend, is we need to lift this up with some rope so that the beans will start to climb. Moving around, you'll see that we have 2 compost bins. This is the one that we've had for a couple of years, and this is the one that we just got this year. And what I like about it is that it's very easy. You just plop it in, and you'll see all sorts of vegetable scraps, all plant material, and I just found out that you can actually also compost bread, and also eggshells, and any other type of organic material. Coffee grounds, the plants love it all. So I think that if you start composting, you'll be really happy with it. And I'll show you my mini compost bin when we go into the kitchen. We're gonna wrap around here. Last year, I won a cooking contest at the News Sentinel with Women's Today Expo, and I did a demonstration of my chicken enchilada, which I'm going to cook for you in a minute. And this is really how it all started with me having my own show. I really enjoyed being up there like Emerald, and it was a lot of fun. And I just decided that I love to cook, I love to garden, and I want to share my recipes and garden tips with all of you. This is a perennial garden, which is the first garden that we tried to have when we first moved here. The garden by the deck was just real small, and I can tell you it took us 3 years in order to really get the soil ready because it was so full of clay. So this has been a work in progress and a labor of love. It's primarily a spring perennial garden because it doesn't have any irrigation, and so we want to make sure that all the plants that we're planting can really withstand the heat. The roses do well here. The honeysuckle does fantastic. And the redbud in the back is actually from Mayo. And Mayo has supplied me with a lot of plants. They're my primary garden source. They're family run. I really like to support the community, and they're so nice and they're so helpful, because I can tell you, my first redbud did not make it, and I had to take it back, and they gave me a new one with no problem last year. And as you can see, it's doing fantastic. It's probably grown about a foot in the past 12 months. There is also a crepe myrtle right here that's getting ready to bloom. This is a pink one, and I also got that from Mayo. And then the irises actually came from a friend. You saw those in my demo, in my promo, but they already have been flowered. The indigo right here is really pretty. It has a blue flower. Again, that has already bloomed. And then I just got the butterfly bush just a few weeks ago at Mayo, and it's just getting ready to pop. It's going to be a purple butterfly bush. So this garden, I really want to get more involved with tolerant plants that really work well in the drought, because I don't want to have to water back here. So I'll let you know how that goes. I'm going to show you some of the herbs and container gardens that I have on my deck. This first one has sage, dill, a couple different kinds of thyme, as you can see, and chives. And I really encourage everyone to grow herbs. They're very easy, they're very inexpensive. All you need is sun, and it's very much makes a huge difference as far as your food. Fresh herbs are so much flavorful than dry herbs. And you can actually take some and have them for the winter too, if you end up having a lot left for the fall. The main thing that you want to remember with herbs, this is rosemary and parsley, is that you want to cut it, because if you don't cut it, it will come out and it will seed, and then it will stop growing. So by cutting it, you're really encouraging it to grow. Like you can see that there's little growth here from the rosemary where I just cut it recently. So this gives it a much bushier type of growth pattern, and it also helps to keep the rosemary coming for the whole summer. Here we've got basil, and also a different type of basil. This is a shortleaf basil. This is the Italian basil that is real common, and this is a shortleaf. And you can see right here, this is what I'm talking about. I need to come out and cut this because it's starting to flower. So that'll be my job this afternoon, is to cut that basil down and use it. Basil is a wonderful, wonderful herb. It can be used in all sorts of Italian dishes, in soups. It goes great with tomatoes. And also you could make pesto if you have a lot of it. And that is ground basil with olive oil and garlic, and it's wonderful like on pasta. Over here we've got some peppermint. This is a lemon peppermint that is really nice for, say, iced tea, and also Mediterranean foods. Lemon mint goes really well. And then this is oregano. This is what I cut earlier to use for my dish. And this is actually fennel. This is growing inside here. So I thought that the leaves were so pretty that I thought it would look nice in this pot, but I will be pulling out the fennel and using it. This is thyme, another nice bush of thyme. Again, I've cut it, and it just keeps on growing. And then this is our topsy-turvy tomato plant. This is what we're already able to harvest tomatoes. The tomatoes that I'll be using in future shows will be with using those tomatoes plus my my garden tomatoes. And here's another plant of basil. As you can see, it's really gotten big, and you can even tell like where I've cut it, because there's the new growth there. And then I have some perennials and also some annuals in the pots. Most of these are annuals, and they will be able to be put in the compost bin at the end of the summer. So that's my garden. Let's come back in a minute, and we're going to make my chicken enchilada recipe, which, as I said earlier, is the recipe that I won in the recipe contest with New Sentinel. And it was really fun getting in front of everyone and doing the demonstration, and the rest is history. So I'll see you in a minute.
Want to host or produce your own show? Knox Ivy is the solution. Email info@knoxivy.com for more information.
Buy local. Buy fresh at the Dixie Lee Farmers Market at Renaissance Farragut. Join us every Saturday morning from 9 to noon for locally grown produce, cheeses, herbs, potted plants, baked goods, pottery, handmade crafts, and more. This is our 3rd season, and the Dixie Lee Farmers Market is still making it easier for you to buy fresh locally grown produce and fresh local goods, all offered from Tennessee farmers and artisans. The Dixie Lee Farmers Market, 12740 Kingston Pike at Renaissance Farragut.
Want your business to be seen by thousands daily? Knox Ivy is the solution. Email info@knoxivy.com for more information.
How are you using social media to connect people to your business?
More than 1.6 million people are actively engaged on Facebook right now.
What are your regular clients saying about you?
Generation Y now outnumbers the baby boomers, and 96% of them are using social networking sites.
Could these be your potential clients?
Since 2000, there has been a 130% jump in the number of Americans who use the internet.
Local results are integral to all major search engines.
And advertising online means you're right next to your point of sale.
Knox Ivy offers local businesses a cost-effective way to advertise.
We can help integrate your advertising with social media
And optimize your exposure. Knox Ivy, new answers for new media.
Thank you to MetroPulse readers everywhere for voting Knox Ivy the best new business for 2010. We love our role as an active partner in telling the world about the people, ideas, and activities that shape East Tennessee. Cheers!
Hi, welcome back. I'm getting ready to make my chicken enchilada, and to start with, what I've done is I've already cooked the chicken and it's cubed. And what you want to do is make sure that the chicken pieces are relatively small. You could also do a shredded chicken if you say had a whole chicken that you just wanted to use parts of it. But this is 4 cups of cooked chicken, and I just want to let it brown a little bit. And like I said, I'm breaking it up because it just works better with the tortilla shells when it is broken up a little bit. Turn that up a little. This is a really easy recipe, very reasonable as far as cost goes, and it's also, you'll see, very quick to put together. So then what I want to do is I want to add a packet of taco seasoning mix. And this is also going to help the chicken brown. Just kind of spread that around. Now I think that you'll find that this is one of the few times that I'm using a package. Normally you'll see that I want to do everything with fresh ingredients, but I need to take the time to kind of learn exactly what's in here. Let me get some chicken broth, because you're going to add chicken broth on with the taco seasoning once I get the taco seasoning coated onto the chicken. And like I said, that's going to help it brown up too. And as you're stirring it, you can just be breaking it up as you go along. This is also a non-stick pan, so I don't have to worry about the chicken sticking. Then what you want to do is going to use probably about half of this can of chicken broth. I'm going to pour that over the chicken. And then you want to mix this. And what's going to happen is that this is going to get hot, and then it will thicken up the sauce with the taco mix. So basically what you're doing is the same thing that you would do for tacos, as far as you could use this in a taco, but this is how it's going to work as far as with the enchilada. But the same type of preparation. So now we're going to come over here. The next ingredient is a pepper, a red pepper. This is roasted red peppers that I hope in the summer I will be actually roasting my own, but right now I had to buy one. And so what you want to do is slice it down the middle, and you want to pull out the seeds. You can see that there's very few seeds. Again, I'm going to use my compost bin. and just get the seeds out. And you can tell that these were actually roasted, maybe even on a grill. They've got little marks here. And that's what's so great about when you do roast peppers on the grill. It tastes really good, and that's going to be in a future show. So just take those seeds out. And then you just want to chop this up. You don't have to be real neat about it. You just want to get it into pieces. And this gives so much flavor to the chicken enchilada. It's really, really good. Then we're going to put this right into the chicken. And before I do, you can see now that this is bubbling and it's going to be thickening up. And again, just keep breaking this up and just getting smaller pieces. Just add the pepper right in. And then the next ingredient is black beans. I've already taken a can of black beans and I've rinsed them. That's really important to do with any type of canned bean, because when you open up a can of beans, they have a kind of a thick sauce on them, so you want to rinse them and let them drain thoroughly because you don't want the added water for this dish. So I'm going to put it right in, and then I'm just going to mix this. You want to thoroughly mix it because all of these different flavors are going to be in your enchilada. Before I forget, I want to add just a little bit more than a teaspoon of chipotle sauce. This is like a tomato pepper sauce that you can buy at the grocery store. And what it does, it just gives it a little kick. Real popular in the Mexican restaurants, and lots of different recipes now have chipotle. So I've got two different types of cheese here. This is a Mexican blend, and this is going to go in the enchilada. And this is a sharp cheddar that's going to go on top. So I'm going to get that out of my way. This is the baking dish that I'm going to use. What's nice is that you'll see these taco shells fit right in. They're the right size. And cooking spray is your friend in this because you really need to make sure that it doesn't stick, and you coat it really well. All right. And all we're going to do now, it's like making a lasagna. You think of the tortillas as your noodles. You just lay it down, and you want to kind of divide up this chicken. You want to use about 1/3 of it. And so you just take it and sprinkle it right in. Oh, it smells so good. And this is using 6 tortillas. And then you take and you put the Mexican cheese, nice layer of Mexican cheese over the top of the chicken. And then you repeat the process. As you can see, very quick and easy to make. Then you put one more tortilla shell on top. And then we're going to have cheese. And we're also going to use some breadcrumbs. So how I do this is I melt the butter. Melt a tablespoon of butter. Just put that in the microwave for a minute. And I have a special kind of breadcrumb that I started using. It's called a Paco breadcrumb. And what's nice is that it's a little bit, it's not as fine as the traditional breadcrumbs. You'll see that it's a little bit rougher cut. So we pull out the butter. And then we take about 1/2 cup of breadcrumbs, and I just put it right into the Pyrex dish. And you just want to coat the breadcrumbs with the butter. And then what I do next is I put the cheese on first. This is the sharp cheddar that I was talking about earlier. And again, just put it all over. Spread it around. And then you just want to sprinkle the breadcrumbs over the top. It just makes it nice and crispy. All right, then just kind of spread it around. And then you want to cover this with foil. And a secret is you take and you spray cooking spray on the inside of your foil, and that will stop anything from sticking. So just put the foil right on top. And you want to bake this at 350 for 30 minutes and then uncovered for 15 minutes. And as you can see, the cheese is melted. It's very crispy with the breadcrumbs. And now you want to let that sit, because just like a lasagna, you want to let it sit for 15 minutes or so that all the flavors come together and it just looks great.
Need a video or commercial that you can afford? Knox Ivy is the solution. Email info@knoxivy.com for more information.
Buy local. Buy fresh at the Dixie Lee Farmers Market at Renaissance Farragut. Join us every Saturday morning from 9 to noon for locally grown produce, cheeses, herbs, potted plants, baked goods, pottery, handmade crafts, and more. This is our third season, and the Dixie Lee Farmers Market is still making it easier for you to buy fresh locally grown produce and fresh local goods, all offered from Tennessee farmers and artisans. The Dixie Lee Farmers Market, 12740 Kingston Pike at Renaissance Farragut.
Steps up, it's in.
Sarah just scored the winning goal in the last game of the season. Her dad couldn't make the game because he's out of town on a business trip, but he was able to watch his daughter during that exciting moment because of Knox Ivy. Knox Ivy is unique because its specifically local content reaches a global audience, making it possible for local businesses to reach their target market but still connect with viewers worldwide. Knox Ivy, new answers for new media.
Thank you to MetroPulse readers everywhere for voting Knox Ivy the best new business for 2010. We love our role as an active partner in telling the world about the people, ideas, and activities that shape East Tennessee. Cheers!
Hi, I'm Mary Gushin, and I'd like to welcome you to my new show, Mary's Kitchen and Garden. This show is all about healthy eating, which means using ingredients from your garden and market that are fresh and in season. The recipes that I'll show you are easy to make and not too expensive. Everyone is on a budget, and I want to show you how to cook without using preservatives. Healthy, flavorful meals that you and your family will love. And remember, this is your show. Email me with your